Hello friends, India just witnessed one of the biggest labor reforms in its history. Quietly, without noise, and without most people even realizing how big this is. For the last 3 to 4 days, social media has moved on. News cycles have moved on, but the impact of this decision will be felt for decades to come. So today, let's cut through the noise. Let's understand what the new labor codes really mean economically, politically, for business, for workers, and for India's future. This is not a basic what changed video, this is a deep dive, the analytical breakdown, the big picture story. Let's begin. Section 1. What exactly changed? The Modi government has now activated the 4 labor codes that were passed earlier but never enforced. These 4 codes replace 29 old labor laws. The 4 codes are Code on Wages, Industrial Relations Code, Social Security Code, and Occupational Safety, Health and Working Conditions Code. Think of it like this. For decades, India's labor rules were a tangled spider web. Different laws, overlapping clauses, conflicting requirements, impossible compliance. Now, it is one unified structure, one clear system, a complete cleanup after 75 years. Let's break down the major changes in simple language. Section 2. Key features. First thing here is universal minimum wage plus timely salary. A national level minimum wage will apply across sectors and companies must pay salaries on time. Why this matters? Earlier, minimum wages differed drastically between states and sectors, creating loopholes everywhere. Now, workers have a baseline guarantee and enforcement becomes easier. Second, mandatory appointment letters for all workers, whether permanent, temporary, gig, platform, or contract. Every worker must get an official appointment letter. Why this matters? Most Indian workers, especially in MSMEs, never had written terms. No clarity on salary, no clarity on role, no legal proof of employment. The single requirement brings enormous transparency and reduces exploitation. The third here is social security for gig and platform workers. For the first time ever in history, gig workers, delivery personnel, cab drivers, freelancers, app-based workers are included in social security frameworks. This means accident coverage insurance, PF-like safety nets, and health benefits. Why this matters? India's gig economy is booming, but the workers driving it had zero protection. But this reform acknowledges them as a legitimate workforce. And then next, number 4 in this key features list is women can now legally work during night hours, but employers must ensure transportation, security, and facilities. Why this matters? Friends, this opens opportunities in IT, retail, hospitality, manufacturing, where night shifts are common. Gender participation in workforce could finally rise now. Number 5 in key features is standardized safety norms. Annual health checkups for workers above 40. Better rules for hazardous industries. Double wager for overtime. And formal safety committees in factories. Why this matters? India previously had some of the world's most outdated safety laws, but here, this brings them closer to global norms. And next, fixed term employment becomes easier. Companies can hire people for fixed durations without going through contractors. Why this matters? It brings flexibility for employers, but also gives workers PF, leave, and all benefits during the contract period. Next, faster dispute resolution. New mechanisms aim to reduce legal delays in wage disputes, dismissals, and conflicts. Earlier, labor disputes dragged for years. Now the process is much cleaner and more predictable and reliable. Section 3. The controversial parts. Every reform has 2 sides. Let's explain the criticisms in simple, clear language. First, weakened strikes and union rights. What does this mean? Under the new codes, unions must give 14 days notice period before a strike. Strikes are banned during ongoing conciliation. The definition of strike now also includes mass casual leave by more than 50% of workers. In simple words, you cannot suddenly shut down a factory. Sudden strikes become difficult. This is important because this gives employers more stability. But unions say it weakens worker bargaining power. Next, easier layoffs for employers. Threshold raised to 300. Earlier, companies with 100 or more workers needed government permission to lay off employees. Now this threshold is 300. In simple words, small and mid-sized factories can retrench workers without government approval. Industry says this helps competitiveness. Workers say this reduces job security. Next, fear of more fixed-term jobs and fewer permanent jobs. Workers worry companies may prefer short contracts instead of long-term permanent roles. True side, yes, some industries may adopt this model, but contract employees will still get full benefits during employment. Section 4. Why this reform matters for India. Now let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture and at the larger impact. First, let's look at the economic significance. Here, higher formalization is equal to more formal jobs, more taxes, more social security, more stability. Boost to Make in India, and manufacturing investors prefer countries with predictable labor laws. This reform makes India more competitive against Vietnam, Indonesia and Mexico. And it also creates opportunity for better workforce participation of women. And gig workers and informal workers enter mainstream labor systems. And then higher consumption. When workers get stable income plus social security, they spend more. Consumption drives GDP. And then business impact. Lower compliance burden. Clear rules, easier hiring and firing, faster dispute resolution, better global competitiveness. With all these, India is finally moving closer to the labor norms of developed economies. Section 5. International comparison. Let's look at the world trend. Countries around the world are rewriting labor laws to include gig workers, non-traditional jobs, digital economy, flexible work culture, and social protection. Here, where India stands. On gig workers, ahead of most nations. On minimum wages and safety, improving significantly. On union rights, more restrictive than Europe, but closer to Southeast Asia. And on hiring flexibility, now we are aligned with modern manufacturing nations. In short, India is moving toward a pro-business but socially aware model. Some call it the China plus Europe hybrid. Section 6. Is this the start of a reform tsunami? Before the 2024 elections, PM Narendra Modi had said, this next upcoming government will take steps that shape India for the next 1,000 years. So, this labor reform is likely just phase 1. More could follow. Land reforms, judicial reforms, logistics reforms, MSME compliance overall, tax simplification, digital labor tracking, national gig worker registry. If all these are executed, India could witness a massive structural transformation. Something similar to what China did between 1990s and 2010. Section 7. The reality check. But let's stay balanced. This reform is powerful only if implemented effectively. States must adopt clear rules. Inspector system must be transparent. Workers must actually receive benefits. MSMEs must get support. Gig workers must not be left only on paper. Without strong execution, this could become another law that looks good on paper only. So friends, India stands at a crossroads. On one side, old laws, old systems, old inefficiencies. On the other side, a new economic architecture that could pull millions into the formal economy and out of the poverty. The labor codes are not perfect. They have risks, they have grey areas, but they also carry unbelievable potential to reform further in future. If India gets this right, we could be looking at the beginning of a once-in-a-generation economic transformation of the country. The next few years will tell the real story. Now, what do you think on this? Please let us know your thoughts on the comment section below. And if you like this video, please don't forget to like, share, and especially please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. This is very important for us, especially for a new channel like us. Thank you so much, friends. Let's meet again. Keep looking for better. Namaste.